Hey, my lovely Willow Vibes tribe members. I am Jessica from Willow Vines Intuitive Vibes, and I am here to do a collective message. I just wanted to say I don't know how long this will be or how short it will be, so maybe that's significant in someone's situation with communication or whatever they're doing, because I don't normally say that. But anyways, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stick around. I hope you do stay. Would love it if you would. And I feel like I didn't say anything. Like literally in this energy right now, I know I was just talking, but it feels like I didn't say a word. So there could be telepathic communication or spiritual downloads and stuff going on for some of you, because this feels very spiritual. And I do have a little mini share, but it ties into the energies and the readings that I've been doing, and this message apparently, because I'm drawn to do it, to say it, whatever. So I'm going to, which is how I roll 90% of the time, even if I don't know what's coming out of my mouth. You know what I mean? It always makes sense later if it's meant to for me, when people give me confirmation or it happens to me or whatever. You know what I mean? Because I read for a lot of different people. It's not just one person or whatever. So keep that in mind with messages, because a lot of the times in a reading, I've said this many times before, there's like a little gem in here for you and then another one for someone else and blah, blah, blah. Like, you know what I mean? Or this is for you, not for you, for you, not for you. You know what I mean? So little blips. Just keep that in mind. Don't take on every message as your own. Something to do with rhymes are very significant. I was rhyming. I talk about, like, I sound like Dr. Seuss sometimes with some of the words that are coming out of my mouth. But someone might actually write poetry, songs, rhymes. They rhyme a lot. Something's rhyming. I don't know. Something to do with a rhyme. A nursery rhyme? Oh, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. That one, but there's nursery rhymes as well. Because that's not a nursery rhyme, is it? That's just a song, a kid song. I don't know. But anyways, nursery rhymes. Why does it make me think of Ring Around the Rosie? A pocket full of posy, ashes, ashes, we all fall down. I mean, we all die eventually, just saying. But that's a very morbid kid song if you think about it, but it was a way for children and families to cope with what was going on. Because didn't that have to do with the plague or the Black Death or something, where they were burning bodies? Or was that during leprosy? I don't remember, but it had to do with plagues and disease and where people were dying, basically. And it was a coping mechanism for that. I don't know why that's significant, but anyways, I'm saying it, so there we go. Well, so this morning I was just, waking up with coffee, listening to my ghost radar, just writing down some words that I'm like, yep, don't know, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Because I do that. And sometimes different words will stand out at different times. So, like, there's a bunch of words that don't go in consecutive order. Just like how I write when spirit channels through me. If you read it, like, in order, it doesn't make sense because it's over here and over there. Like, you know what I mean? It's not all together. That's why I backtrack a lot sometimes, because I don't read everything I write, or it comes up again for whatever reason. Whenever information repeats itself, it's important. So pay attention to that. But because something's on repeat because somebody needed to understand, but there is an understanding coming in for some of you or for someone you're dealing with. But anyways, I'm just sitting there and I was listening to a video on YouTube, but I wasn't really paying attention to that. I was just doing my own thing. It was kind of in the background. And with the autoplay for the next video, one of mine came on, and it was the, which video was it? I just looked at the darn thing. It was not that. What matters most to you video I posted like a couple days ago. I think I recorded it on the 23rd, March 23rd, and it uploaded on the 24th. Well, today is May 25th, 2023, and that one came on and I just let it play through because I wasn't really paying attention. And then I had mentioned Corinthians in that reading, and I wasn't sure if it was in the Bible. I was pretty sure it was, but I didn't know what it stood for, what it meant, or anything like that. Because I don't know Bible verses. I know a few, but not many. The Bible's pretty big. But anyways, I think Corinthians the information I looked up is that when I heard it, I was like, oh yeah, I gotta look that up. So I looked it up this morning, and I think it pertains to the New Testament. I'm not sure, don't hold me to that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And the first thing that came up that resonated with me, and when I was like, what does this mean? What is this about? Why would I even bring that up? Were the letters of Paul to Corinthians. Because there's, I don't know how many letters, but the first letter was written about, what does it say, 53 to 54 CE. It was about, basically, roughly about thoughts and problems of the early church. You know, like bringing the different problems, you know, when it comes to congregating together, bringing people in, and, you know, the diversity and stuff, because people were trying to, you know, bring in people. It's like the church was trying to bring in people to their faith ultimately. So there, that was discussing that, but that wasn't what stood out to me. It was the part that has to do with spiritual gifts and stuff. And I was like, wow, what are the odds of that, you know? Especially with what I'm doing. So I'm going to read a couple little blurbs here for you guys, because this is what that stood for. So what does it mean to you with the text that I'm explaining ultimately? To members of the community quarreling about the nature and distribution of spiritual gifts, Paul replies that jealousy among those working in the Spirit of God is as irrational as jealousy between the eye and the ear. Both are essential to the well-being of the body as a whole. So it's like, for those of you who have spiritual gifts, whether you know, have clairaudience, you know, you're clairsentient, you know, whatever your clair is, whatever your gift is, whatever ability you have, it doesn't mean that your gift is better than somebody else's, whether they have more or less or whatever, you know what I mean? Because you were chosen to be that conduit for a reason, whether you have multiple gifts or just one, you know? And some people aren't chosen to work with their gifts, even though we all have the capability, because we all have intuition and spirit can speak to all of us in certain ways. It's just clearer for others because we work with our gifts, but it doesn't make you, just because you have spiritual gifts, it doesn't make you better than anyone else, and it doesn't make you better than somebody else who has those gifts. So it's almost like if you were a chosen one, I guess you could say, if you're within that group of people, spiritually speaking, don't work against each other. You're meant to work together. It's not a competition, is what I want to say with that. So if anyone's dealing with that, don't be in competition with any other light worker or healer or whatever. Just go on your own path and do what you feel. Be your authentic self. Because that's the point. You don't want to deliver all the same information. It's meant to be different messages that come together as one. That's kind of what that feels like. But anyways, the next thing I want to read is then in one of the most significant of all Pauline texts, chapter 13, the number 13 is significant. I've said that before. In the past, the apostle explains to his fellow Christians that no gift of God, whether it be the gift of tongues, faith that moves mountains, or knowledge of mysteries, which would be psychics and mediums and stuff like that, has meaning unless it is accompanied by love. So if you're utilizing your spiritual gifts and sharing the love, and you're doing it with the best of intentions, then you're going to prosper, because your messages don't amount to shit. If you have hate in your heart, if you're doing it for all the wrong reasons, you know what I mean? Because I've said this before, there's some people who read tarot that have gotten readings from me, like private readings and stuff, and when they would ask about, you know, is this the right path for me? Should I be reading? Should I be doing this? I've said this, and it's come up multiple times, because it's the same message for multiple people who are doing things like that. As long as you do it for the right reasons, you will prosper. Like, things will work out for you. It's like, don't do it for the money, don't do it for the clout, don't do it for the attention, whatever. Do it because you're drawn to do it, because it feels right to you, because you want to help other people, which is why I do it. You know, it's almost like everything else outside of that is a bonus. It's helpful, but it's not necessary to spread the word. If that makes sense, no matter who your higher power is, because this sent me down the rabbit hole. I started looking into the Freemasons and stuff, and there's a lot of controversy and stuff when it comes to them, especially with through like Catholicism and Christianity, just because the Freemasons believe in inclusion. So it's multiple belief systems coming together as one. So it's nobody's segregated. Because if you think about it, back in medieval times when the Masons were formed in the first place, they were journeymen. These men came from all over and they traveled to different places to build castles and whatever, to build things. So they weren't all from the same background. They weren't the same they weren't the same basically, but they had one thing in common: their faith in a higher power. And that's kind of what I talk about on here. That's why I say the universe, your higher power, because we all believe differently. Like the name, the label we put on our quote unquote deities or whatever, or deity, it may differ. And that's okay, because you believe in something greater than yourself, bigger than yourself, and technically God is one. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter what name what name he has. Like, think of it from a parental standpoint, or whatever. Like, okay, say, you get named, my name is Jessica, but some people call me Jessie, some people call me Jess. I've had different last names. My children call me mom. You know what I mean? And someday when I have grandkids, I will be a grandmother and they'll call me whatever they call me. So I am one person with multiple names, but I'm still me. Do you know what I mean? So if you think of your higher power in the same sense, and I'm not trying to convert anyone or whatever, you believe what you believe. I'm just explaining this. It's like, so whatever name you use to pray to your higher being, to the Almighty, your father, basically, your mother, whatever. It doesn't matter, because the intention's the same, the feelings are the same, the love speaks many languages. There are no barriers when it comes to love. Love is greater than all things. And that's what that message meant, because it's in your heart. It's not what comes out of your mouth necessarily, it's what you feel and your intentions. So just know that. I don't know. I just wanted to say that, because maybe there could be some controversy between, religious beliefs, especially if this has to do with a partnership of some kind or friendships, and people are clashing because it's like, well, I believe this way and you go against everything I believe in. And sometimes there's no way to find that common ground. But if you look at things from a different perspective, from a higher perspective, not from a closed mind, not from just what people told you, what you're taught, what you read about, what you feel, things can change and we can come together in a more peaceful way. The other thing that's cool with the Masons and stuff, the Freemasons, is like I said, journeyman. If you're, I don't know, a contractor or anything, like if you're an electrician, a plumber, a heater tech, whatever that is, because there's multiple jobs and stuff. If you're apprenticing under someone, you can go for your journeyman's license. That's where that stems from the Freemasons back in medieval time, because they were literally journeymen. They traveled around, and there was apprenticeships and stuff. Like, the new people would apprentice under those who were seasoned, basically. So that's where that stemmed from, which is really cool if you think about it. I don't know. I might be like really drawn to that, like Freemason information, like whatever is public knowledge, because they take an oath to, an oath of secrecy, basically, for whatever they do in their meetings and what have you. But there's nothing wrong with that. But like whatever's public knowledge, like the basic information surrounding what that group is, what that faith is, whatever you want to call it, it's very interesting, and I feel like I'm intrigued by it, because my Grandpa Bill, who just recently passed away, he was a master Mason. So he was high ranking, basically. And I feel like some of that information is coming through, because I had a lot of misconceptions when it came to like the Freemasons and stuff. Because I didn't know, I didn't understand like what their, I didn't judge them or anything. I just didn't understand what it was all about, like why. I didn't know what it was. I knew it had something to do with religion, but I wasn't sure. So looking it up, it's it's all about coming together if you think about it. I know that that group is for men only, and that's totally fine because it's been that way forever because when it was established. But that's not, that doesn't mean that they're excluding women and stuff like that. Like it's just okay, because I feel like this debate's going to go south. Someone's going to say something like that, like it's not all inclusive if women aren't involved. But that's not what it's about. I'm talking about the faith side of it, like this, the diversity. I don't know. But anyways, there's that. I'm not going down that rabbit hole. But I feel like that's why I've been drawn to look into it, and I have a better understanding. So it's like I'm learning things about my grandfather that like his soul is telling me that I didn't know when he was alive, you know, and it's cool. It's really cool. It's like I don't know how else to explain it. It's really cool. I wrote that down somewhere. Oh, keep your cool, but it's cool. It'll be okay. Everything's gonna be alright. Because somebody is just starting out, so I don't know if it has to do with the spiritual community, you know, when it pertains to tarot, psychic, mediumship, anything like that. I feel like someone's just learning, they're figuring things out, which is what I was talking about because, you know, I focus on my belief system, which I've kind of dipped my toes into multiple faiths just to kind of see because I didn't really know. I always believed in a higher power, but I didn't really know where I fit in. I never fit into any of these categories when it comes to like religion, which is structured by humanity. If you think about it, spirituality is very open and free. But I just, and that's why it makes sense for me. That's why paganism makes sense for me. Some of it, I don't know, because it's almost like there's little gems in every faith, and a lot of the times, all these different religions, they believe in very similar things. They just have a different structure on Earth. I don't, you know what I mean? They structure it different down here. They use different words, but it all means the same thing. If that makes any sense, but maybe somebody's figuring that out. But this is just the start. Then we have honesty. Someone's figuring out the truth. They're seeing that you're being honest, that someone, I don't know, I just feel like this is the God's honest truth is what I want to say with that for some reason. And then we have listening. Someone's paying attention, they're listening. It's like, I'm all ears now. You got my attention. So someone got your attention or you got theirs with whatever you're saying or doing. And it's like, this is so much deeper than just love and relationships. This is so much deeper than this catty drama and bullshit. This is life path type stuff. This is when you're lost and you need direction, this is where you'll find it, kind of thing. Even if it's just one word, a feeling, a sign, an orb that floats by, there's some type of confirmation and truth that is the truth that's going to come to somebody, and it's going to help them have a better understanding of why they did the things they did and why they acted a certain way. And it's going to help them redirect themselves, because you can't change what happened prior. You can't change yesterday or the past. You can reflect on it. You can feel bad about it. And then you can apologize to people. You can apologize to yourself even, because we all make mistakes. As long as you chalk those mistakes up as lessons and you learn from those lessons and move forward within your own truth and you're honest with yourself and those around you, you can overcome any obstacle, is what this feels like. Someone might be figuring that out, or they're wondering if they're worth saving, like a sense of salvation. Because that's bringing me back to the Freemasons, because they, like, a lot of times, like on a broad spectrum, I guess you could say, like Christianity as a basis, they, in order for salvation, other people need to be involved. It's almost like the priest or pastor or whatever, they've got to help save your soul. You got to do whatever, like there's steps in the process. It's not an individual thing. But the Freemasons believe that you can save yourself. Like, it's a solo journey. Your spirituality is independent of others, which I truly believe that. And that is, I don't know, that was very profound when I read that little blip, and I was like, that's, I really, I like that. I don't know. I was going to say something and it just kind of went out of my face. Flew away. So, anyways, let's see what's going on. What is this fledgling? What is that? Could have something to do with partnership, a celebration. Someone's new to something. I feel like I want to start fresh. Someone might be new to spirituality or the twin flame journey, spiritual connections, things like that. So if you're strongly connected to another person and they're confused by it, it's like they see it but they're confused. It doesn't make sense. They could be figuring it out, or you're figuring it out. Maybe both of you are, because life is all about learning. You know, whether we screw up or not, we're still learning stuff. All right. Something to do with hun or honey, like, hey, hun, what's going on? Candles are significant as well. Some of you might make candles, sell candles, or you just burn them ritualistically or otherwise. And you know what's really weird? I kept thinking about this because I was like, I want to do something for my grandmother. She's the wife of my grandfather who passed away. Because she's not doing the best, but she's hanging in there, you know what I mean? And I'm not going to say on here exactly what I wanted to do, but what kept popping in my head had something to do with a candle. And it was a white candle. So a white candle could be significant to some of you, but that's about remembrance, you know, like memorializing someone. You can light it in honor of someone who's passed away when you're thinking of them. And I don't know, there's something significant with that. And I've been very drawn to get a candle, and I want to give it to her for some reason. Whether she understands what it's for or not. I mean, I was going to put a little note on it too, but whether she utilizes it or not, I don't know. There's a significance with that, and I was very drawn to do it. And I've done that with other people as well before. We have communication. There's honest communication coming in. Yeah, there is, because we have the Queen of Swords. Messages. If you're using candle magic in the right way, like for yourself, for prosperity, you know, lighting it for financial abundance, you know, just stability, happiness, love for yourself, if you're doing it in the proper way, I feel like that's working, it's coming in. Because there might be some people who they're not doing things in the right way, and that's going to blow up in their face. Because if you're not doing something with love and the best of intentions for other people or for yourself, like especially if you're involving others and it's infringing on their free will, whatever you're wishing on them will come back to you times 3 or more, depending on the situation and the severity of it. So it's almost like if you're wishing ill will on others or another person, whether you're lighting a candle for it or not, and you're over here trying to manifest something beautiful for yourself, you're working really hard, like, you know, I'm busting my butt at work, I'm trying to earn this money, and then you notice no matter how hard you work, you never have the money, or no matter how many people you date, you never click with them, things just aren't working out for you, no matter what that means. It's because your wishes are being counteracted by your intentions towards others. So if you're being nasty, you're not going to get good things in return. And even if you get, like, say you won a scratch ticket, you win like 20 grand or something or more, and all of a sudden tax problems, or if it's like, great, you have this lump sum of money, and then all of a sudden you end up having to pay more than you even won because of whatever reason, you know. It just depends on your situation, but there are bad intentions tied to that. So it's like, oh, we'll build you up and then knock you down. So it's like, oh, you think you're getting this and then it's gone. That's spirit doing that. That's not even people. So just pay attention, because things like that happen to people all the time. There's an ebb and flow to life, and there's a balance. It's, you know, between negative and positive energies, and it's okay to be angry and mad and sad and all that and be in those kind of dark feels, but it's not okay to try to harm other people, even if it's just you going, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. You know what I mean? Like, I wish this on you, I wish that on you. You should probably not do that, because it's just going to affect you. Even if it affects that other person temporarily, there's a level of confusion here. Someone's listening, they don't know what to think about something. This feels like a dream is what I just heard. So dreams are very significant, but whatever someone's listening to, hearing, seeing, waking up to, like, especially if this is pertaining to spirituality, it feels like a dream. Like, I don't know. Like, what's the right choice here? Someone doesn't want to make the wrong choice because they don't want to be punished for it. Yeah. If you're making decisions for yourself, you know, like, say, choosing between two people and a love connections, okay? It's like, I have feelings for both these people. Maybe you have history with one and not the other, whatever. Whatever it is, it's almost like weighing the pros and cons. It's like, I don't know where I belong. Your heart truly knows. Get out of your head for one. But if you reject someone, if you tell them no, it's like, no, I don't want to date you, I'm moving on to this person, that person, whatever. Even if you are connected in the 5D, like in the spiritual sense, you know, if you're connected that way, you might still dream about this person even if you don't talk, but you're not going to get karma for that. You're not going to get bad karma for it. No, you're not going to be punished, if that makes sense, just because you go, no, I don't want to date you. You have free will. That's not where bad karma comes in. Bad karma comes in when you harm another person, physically, emotionally, mentally. You're doing things to hurt them, to mess with them, control, stuff like that will come back and bite you in the ass. So if it's just like, oh, I'm faced with a choice and I don't want to be punished for saying no to someone who's spiritual, that's not how that works. You have free will. You can say no to anyone you want. You don't have to talk to certain people. You don't have to be with them. You don't have to whatever. Even if they're family members, you're not going to be punished for that. I have the Ten of Cups. And I do want to say, like, when it comes to friends, family, lovers, whatever, if you decide to leave someone out of your life and you feel like you're going to be punished for it, the punishment, it's like the only punishment that comes from not being in someone's life is just that, not being in their life. If you make that decision and they're happy and stable and fine on their own, because even though you decided to leave them out of your life when you were in that state, and then maybe you're not in that state of mind down the road sometime for whatever reason, and they are, that's the karma tied to that. It's like you reap what you sow, basically. You're going to have to live with that decision. You push that person away, and if they succeed and do well, you're not going to be part of that. That's how that works. It's not like you're just going to be punished because you decided that you don't want to talk to a parent or a child or an aunt or an uncle or whatever anymore. It's, you just won't be part of their victories or their failures or anything. You know what I mean? Yeah, because someone didn't want to move forward. Potentially with a Queen of Cups, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Someone's confused about a level of fear. But I also feel like there could be sleepless nights here as well for someone. But anyways, what's going on with honesty? This truthful communication. The truth is confusing someone. Possibly because they were listening to a bunch of foggy BS, you know, like lies and crap. Underhanded people. I almost feel like I'm listening, but I don't know who to trust. Yeah, somebody doesn't know who to trust because there is a level of betrayal here. Someone also might be focused on the past. Either their past actions, like they could be reflecting, like I shouldn't have said that, done that, blah, 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 whatever. Or they're looking at what somebody else has done to them. I don't know, it feels like, well, somebody's focused on a problem, a painful ending, death is sneaking up on them. Like, all right, you're focused on something that already happened, and we're coming in to end something for you currently. For some of you. For some of you, a Scorpio, a masculine Scorpio, male, female, doesn't matter. It's just someone in their masculine energy could have betrayed you. They could have really hurt you in the past, basically, with their words, with communication, texting, online crap, or I don't know, this feels like more than just that, and they're reflecting on it. I don't know, I feel like I'm wrapped up in something that happened in the past, either to me or something I did, and there's massive change and ending. Something's changing in the situation, but it's sneaking up on this person. It's like, while you're not looking, boom. While you're not looking, in comes someone else or something else. Something changes. Could be a partnership that comes in. Yeah, because we have love. Messages of love. While you're not looking, while you're focused on the past, while you're stuck in your head, thinking about how you can overcome a sense of betrayal. Because there's someone here who hurt someone. And that's what it really feels like. It feels like somebody hurt another person and they're focused on what they did and they want to know how to fix it. Because they don't want to be out of your life for good. So they're heavily focused on that, and in comes this change, in comes these messages of love, and it's going to come in out of nowhere and catch someone off guard, because whoever was dwelling on the past should have been focused on today, like the here and the now. They shouldn't be living in the past, because it almost feels like a grudge, holding a grudge. And that actually makes me kind of sad, because it's making me think of like when people pass away and you hold a grudge. And it's like, I held a grudge for years because you did this and this and this to me and whatever. Like, there's always a problem, even if it was based off from lies, whether this person believes the lies or not. They're just upset and they won't get over something that happened. And then the other person passes away. And then they never get to say sorry. They never get to get over it, and then they're stuck with it forever. That's also karma. Because part of the lesson is to let go, to feel it, heal it, let it go, and move forward. Even if you don't keep that person around you, it's like, don't sit there in your own misery. Don't stew in the past, because even stew will get gross if you just leave it on the burner forever. All the liquid will boil out and then everything will burn, turn to mush and burnt shit. So don't stew on things. And if something's truly bothering you that much, ask yourself why, so that you can really do some self-reflection and overcome whatever that is, so that you can move past it. Because it's not just as easy as going, yep, I'm not going to think about it anymore. You know what I mean? Like, it takes work. And sometimes it takes work on the regular. Each and every day you have to remind yourself to look at things from a different perspective, to see the bigger picture, to be more positive, to not fly off the handle. You know what I mean? It takes time to reprogram your brain, basically, into a more positive mindset. It's just like telling yourself positive affirmations. You say it enough, you'll believe it, and then it will become your reality. That's what manifestation is all about. But anyways, what's going on with the Seven of Cups and listening? Multiple people could be listening to you, whatever you're saying. You have the Wheel of Fortune, moving forward. Someone's confused on how to move forward, how to move this forward, how to move something forward, or how to move forward with you, because there is a level of rejection here. Like, what do I do now? Yeah, what do I do now? Excuse me, what do I do now? I said there's something significant with a vehicle, and I feel like that's going on with multiple people, but this situation is reminding me of what my mom said. It's so funny because, well, that situation isn't funny, but um, I had picked up on it. I didn't know who it was for, and come to find out, it was for my mom's boyfriend because there was vehicle issues, something to do with his brakes, and he needed them fixed or whatever. And there was just discord between him and another person because like he does a lot for them and they weren't doing anything for him, and he got upset over it because it's like you feel left out. It's like I do this and this for you and you do nothing for me. I said that in a reading, and come to find out, there was words were exchanged because he was upset that he was being taken advantage of. That's what he felt like, and I picked up on that. That's what this is making me think of. That situation, it, like if he or my mom or anyone tied to them is going to watch this, I don't feel like they will. They might down the line, but if they do, that will reach a happy resolution. Basically, I do, like the vehicle's already fixed. I know that now, but things will change in that situation because there's a realization that it doesn't matter who someone is to you, because that's the point here. It doesn't matter if they're your child, your parent, whoever they are to you. If they're taking advantage of you, then you know you got to draw the line in the sand. It's like this, these are my boundaries. I'll do this for you. I love you and this is why I help you. But you can't if you can't do anything in return, anything at all, like, you know, when I'm in need, if you just vacate the premises and you're inconsiderate of my feelings, my time, whatever, that could be your boundary where you go, yeah, this isn't balanced. You're old enough to do it on your own now. Figure it out. There's a lesson for you. You know what I mean? We teach people lessons all the time, and that's a very small lesson, but it can feel very huge, especially when love is involved. You know, when you love your children, you love your parents, you love whoever, your friends, whatever, and it's hard to do the tough love sometimes. You know, because it's like we want to be there. We want to help pick up the pieces when someone's falling apart if we care about them. We don't want people to struggle. We don't want our children to struggle, our parents or whatever. But sometimes certain people have to struggle because they'll just take everything for granted. They'll never learn if they don't. You know, it's just like, it's making me think of birds in a nest where the mama bird's like, all right, it's time to fly. I fed you long enough. And she'll kick them out of the nest, and yeah, some of the babies die. They don't fly. Or they land on the ground and they have to figure out how to get their wings working so they don't become, you know, prey, ultimately. But that's like survival of the fittest when it comes to the animal kingdom and stuff like that. But it's the same idea, like because it feels like parent-child, but it could be with anyone in your life, you know, anyone that you care about, that you've helped, ultimately. It's like, I'd do anything for you. I'll help you. I'll give. But that's not going to teach them to do it on their own if they know that every single time the shit hits the fan, they have a scapegoat. Do you know what I mean? They have a safety net. They have that blanket. Well, what happens when, like, for example, like, say this is a parent-child thing. What happens if that adult child has no life skills now? You know, like, okay, yeah, they work, yeah, they do this, whatever it is, because it's different for everyone. Some people might be lazy, some people might not be. You know, you just fall on hard times, which is totally different when you fall on hard times and you ask for help and stuff. But this feels like, I don't know, over and over, something like that. But regardless, if every time, okay, this is a better example. If every time your kid F's up, they do something they shouldn't be doing, you bail them out, no matter what that means. They get bailed out all the time. Do you think that kid's going to learn not to do bad things? No. They're just going to continue to go, okay, well, I can do whatever I want. I'm going to get bailed out. I won't get in trouble. Or, yeah, I blew my entire paycheck on all this fun crap. Oh, I'll just go ask mom or dad for money. It'll be fine. Shit like that, if that continues and it happens over time repeatedly, that kid is never going to learn, even as an adult. And when that parent, that person who's the helpful one, passes away, then what? Then what? You know what I mean? Because if you're the mama bird or daddy bird or whatever pushing the babies out of the nest, you're still alive. So if you're seeing that they're struggling, you can still help them. You know what I mean? But if you're on the other side, yeah, you can help spiritually, but most people don't get it. They don't understand. So it's more difficult. I don't know why I'm going off on that. Maybe someone needs to hear that today. Could be a mother that needs to hear it. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. I don't know, this feels like a happy family situation over here. The start of something. I just heard I'm really happy for you. So someone's really happy for another person. I'm really happy for you. You're so smart. I don't know why I'm saying that. And then we have the Three of Wands. Somebody could be waiting for some type of news to come in, some type of information. And then we have the Five of Swords, which is about a level of control, but I feel like the door just slammed downstairs. Walking away. I don't know what to do here. It's like you can say and do whatever you want. You can take on all of this. I'm out. That's what that feels like to me. Because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like someone feels like they have all the power, but they don't. The person who appears to have all the power, like a control in a situation, they really don't. They're actually grasping for straws. They're very confused. It's almost like trying to keep someone stuck by proxy. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to keep you stuck because I'm stuck. That kind of thing. That could be going on for someone. Not for everyone. Becoming stupid by proxy. That's funny. Bert Kreischer says that, like, about his kids. He goes, just sitting with them, you become stupid by proxy because you start thinking like them. Which is kind of funny. I guess hang around high-vibing people because you might feel dumbed down, or I don't know, maybe somebody's dumbing down themselves, like they're very intelligent, but because of the people that they're around and a lack of understanding because they're not as intelligent or something, they act differently, they talk about different subject matters. It's almost like they hide their intelligence. Don't do that. If you're doing that, let your talents shine. And sometimes some people's talents are their smarts, their brains, their sense of intelligence. I feel like whoever this person is to you, you can have intelligent conversations with them. Like, not just, oh, how's the weather kind of thing. This person can explain things that you don't fully understand. So, like, say there's a topic at hand and it's like, I'm not well versed in this, but this person is. So you could talk about it and they can give you more information, and vice versa, because just because you don't know one subject matter doesn't mean you don't know another. Do you know what I mean? So it's almost like balancing out information or something. Balancing out information. I just heard I really want to talk to you. So whoever this is really wants to say something. They might not know how to reach out or what to say. They need to gain the strength and courage to say something is what it feels like. But what are we going to end this on? Because this is long enough. Let's see, we'll pull. Well, something good's coming in for you. I feel like it's been a long time coming, but good things are worth the wait. I'm just saying, no place like home. Home is where the heart is. And happy. And soulmate, yeah. And a level of peace. I feel like somebody might want to bring peace to a situation, but there is a peaceful resolution here regardless, no matter what we're talking about, who we're talking about. You are connected to another person. If you don't know this person, there's someone new coming in for you. Whoever this is, whether you know them or not, whether you dated them or not, there is the potential for a happy new beginning between the two of you, as long as Easter, something to do with Easter, happy Easter, as long as you guys are on the same page and come to a mutual understanding. And someone makes you feel like you belong in their life. I feel like you know that you belong in their life and vice versa. This could pertain to multiple people, not just in love. But it's like Just because I know something, just because we're supposed to be connected in some sort of way, doesn't mean that that's going to happen, because the other person needs to make you feel that way as well. They need to show you, and you need to show them. It's not one-sided, because it was before. Um, I also feel like there's someone in the situation who might feel like you two belong together, but you really don't. You might belong in each other's lives for whatever reason, but it doesn't feel romantic. But there is a romantic connection in here somewhere. And I kind of feel like there's a romantic partner who's paying attention to you in some sort of way. I also wanted to bring up, for some reason, because I don't know, I came across it. I didn't even know this was going on, this feud and crap and whatever. But this is a public thing, and it has to do with entertainment. I said that in a prior reading. There's someone's in the entertainment business. It could be literally actors and stuff like that. And there was like conflict. There was conflict, and I didn't know what the conflict was about or what the hell it was. Well, what's really weird is last night this video popped up, and it has to do with Nick Goff, which he used to be part of Ghost Adventures, and there was issues with, oh, the spirit just was like, or there's issues with production side and network and whatever, and it had to do with one individual person. I'm not naming names or anything like that, because I don't care about the drama and stuff, but I talk about paranormal activity and stuff like that all the time, and those are paranormal shows. They're all part of the paranormal community, and there's a lot of discord going on there in the entertainment business, and they were coming out about, the truth was coming out, and that's what Nick named his video, was like, here's the truth about whatever. So people are speaking up, they're standing up for themselves when they feel like they're being attacked or taken advantage of, which is what everyone needs to do on a small scale, grand scale, whatever. It doesn't matter what it is for you. But I picked up on that, and I was like, I'm picking up on the paranormal community now? Holy crap. But I mean, I picked up on shit from the past, Abraham Lincoln, Kurt Cobain. That one, I did share it, and I might listen to it again, because if you notice, I was literally, it was like he was like speaking through me. It wasn't just like, oh yeah, you're over there and I'm relaying a message. It was like through me, because my mannerisms changed like completely. Like it was literally shown on video, and I was like, wow, I sound different, I'm speaking different, I'm acting different, because that's not how I act. I sounded like I was intoxicated, but I wasn't. And I mean, there's no way for me to prove that to you guys now, because that video was done last spring, I don't remember, like a year or so ago. I think it has his name in the title if you want to look it up. But I was totally sober. That was just, I don't know, it all came through. He had a message for his daughter too. And something about Bean, which I think it pertains to his daughter. And I totally spaced it till I was rewatching it, because I said something about love. I forgot. He was married to Courtney Love, and yeah, he had love for her, but I was wrapped up in love, is what I had said. That's what it was, yeah, because I'm being reminded of it right now. I was wrapped up in love. He was wrapped up in her. That's what that stood for. Because it could sound like, oh, I'm just in love with love, which wouldn't make much sense. For him, it kind of would, but it wouldn't, because of, his persona and just the type of music and just who he was as a person. He wasn't like the most affectionate person, but he wasn't like, do you know what I mean? I don't know how to explain it, but he was wrapped up in her. That's what that message meant. Why the hell is that coming up out of nowhere? It's hard because it needs to. But for me personally, like me, Jessica, I don't need to prove my gifts to anyone, and I've said that a lot. I really feel like the main reason why I'm so adamant on re-explaining things and quote unquote proving myself, I guess, is for spirit. It's for them. It's for those who have crossed over, so they can relay their messages, and it will get to the people that they want it to get to. Do you know what I mean? Like for example, with Michael Jackson, because he was in my energy for a while, and I'm sure a lot of people don't believe that either. But I know that there were some messages that I had said, some things that I had said pertaining to him, he wanted Paris to know. He wants his children to know. Prince Paris and Blanket. But but Paris is very close to his daughter. But anyways, um, a father-daughter bond is unlike any other. It really is. I was just talking to, I'm gonna cry. What the hell? Um, I was just talking to my kid's father about that because I'm really close to my son, and he's really close to our daughter, but it's she's in those teenage years where she's kind of pulling away and then kind of going in. It's almost like she wants to be treated like that little baby girl again. But when he does and he jokes around with her, she gets pissed off. So it's kind of like, meh. But it will die down and change around again, hopefully, because they've been close from day one. And so have me and Logan. It's just really weird. I mean, I love both my kids equally, but you just click with certain people. You vibe with certain people, and it's just in that, I guess, I'm a parent first, but in that friendly way, I guess I'm closer to my son when it comes to that. But there's no stronger bond than a father-daughter bond. Is That's coming up for some of you, so that could mean something to some of you. Maybe you're a father or you're a daughter. And there's something to do with dad. I miss you, Dad. So there's someone who misses it. There's a few someones who miss their fathers, and some of these fathers are passed away, and these are adult children, younger children, whatever, who miss their father. Because that's like a broad message. I'm just saying, but I have an adult female, a daughter, who misses her father who passed away, and I feel like there's a lot of struggles there for her personally. It's hard to love. It's hard to love because of that relationship, but it's almost like, I don't know, I feel like when you died, my heart went with it, kind of thing, went with you. So there needs to be some recovery there, but with that person. This person hides that stuff all the time. They don't want, it's like, I feel like friends and family know that this person struggles with the death of their parent or parents, and it's like it's not a secret, but the secret is they don't know how much it hurts. They don't know the thoughts that go through that person's head. Stuff like that. It's really hard. It's hard to face. It's hard to face for that person. Then there's a younger energy here. It's a daughter. She's like, I don't know, preteen, teenage years or something like that. There's issues with her mother. This could be a couple girls, actually. There's issues with her mother. So there's either her parents are divorced or separated. So dad lives in one home, mom lives in another. I don't know, I feel like me and mom, there's issues with mom for some reason. And there's, I don't know, I don't feel like there's issues with the dad, but there's, for that girl, I don't feel like, for both these girls, I don't feel like there's issues with the father, but it's almost like wanting that female role model, like someone that they can talk to, because it's like, I can only tell my dad this, this, and this. It's my dad. I can't talk girl talk with my dad, and I can't talk girl talk with my mom, either because mom is out of the picture for whatever reason, or mom just doesn't care, doesn't listen. There's something going on with the mother if she's present. Regardless, this daughter, there's a lot that she wants to talk about, but she feels like she doesn't have anyone to joke around with, to talk about, boys with girls, with love, crushes, bullying, all kinds of crap, whatever young girls need to get out. Because I feel like even if this girl talks to her friends, it's different. It's like, I need an adult female around me, because I need advice, or I need comfort, something. And there's two girls. One is like preteen, like younger-ish, and the other one is a teenager, who are dealing with that. It's very difficult for them, and they hide a lot of their pain. I don't know, I just don't feel good enough. I don't feel good enough. So there's some insecurities there. Because I just want to say, but you are. You are beautiful inside and out, and you are anything you want to be in life. You can be anything you want to be. There's endless possibilities. It's like you have your whole life ahead of you. Don't let people tear you down. It's really easy to say and hard to do. I heard, I just love you. I just love you. I love you so much. Like, you're so cute. I just love you. All right. Well, that's a happy note to leave it on, kind of. Someone just loves you. Those girls, if you're listening, whoever you are loved. And I do feel like whatever you're going through is not going to last forever. And hopefully you can find someone that you can confide in, because this is young energy and this is the truth. And whoever this person is, they want someone to listen to them. This kid, I need you to listen to me. I need you to understand. Like, it's almost like I don't want to talk to my dad or whoever because you won't understand what's going on. If I tell you the truth, you're going to blow it out of proportion. You're going to ignore me. You're going to downplay it, whatever. There is someone around you who will listen to you, or there's someone this girl or these girls wants to talk to, that will understand. They will listen, and they will give honest advice. I don't know, I feel like there's a child who wants to say something, and this has something to do with them. It's not like coming clean, going, oh, I screwed up, I hurt you, I did this, I did that. No, this is a kid who just wants to have a truthful conversation about themselves, for whatever reason. But anyways, that's what I have for you guys. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon.